All right, folks, we're back. Game number 1 in a brand new best of 3. We actually are a little bit further behind in the brackets than I had thought. The winner of this is actually going to be kind of interesting because they go on to fight against Drogo. So this will lead into a ZVP afterwards no matter what, and I think that'll be fantastic. Gotta get... Ooh, okay, of course it's Bly. Do the intros in just a sec. Last shout out to round this up, Baronerd. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. $10 and says, Rifkin, even vampires need a good dental plan. Long-time listener. Well, thank you very much for being a donator as well. But in the bottom right, he is currently going for that early pool, early gas, ladies and gentlemen. Bly.
In the top left, as the red Zerg, it is Sleep. Korean Sleep. He probably needs some right now.
Yeah, Sleep does play in a lot of this stuff. I'm past the point of sympathizing about their sleep schedules or their like time zone because Sleep plays in everything we do European based. So
yeah. Shout out to JTDC for the 51 3-sub and Ice Pack for the 4-month 3-sub.
Nice. I don't know why that's not showing some Twitch alerts actually.
Oh, well, I got it. No problem. So this is something that I wish I remembered how the dynamic worked, but honestly I don't, so I'm not going to try and sound smart. But ZvZ early pools can be interesting because the overlords get to your natural so quickly that it can be very, like, I think it's like just easy to scout whether or not your opponent's doing it.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because Bly's doing the things I forgot about, and it's like hitting me like a brick. Like, first off, he's gonna take the base down here so it doesn't look like he's taking it natural. Secondly, you can still sneak lings around the map if you go around this side, up and above, if you recall. So Bly's gonna do, exactly, precisely that. So he will get past the overlords on this. But as you pointed out, it does get to the natural, so at least Sleep knows, oh, there's no natural base here. Something's up.
So, unfortunately, you cannot determine if it's gas or not just by seeing that. Well, actually, you might be able to, because that's the reason that Bly is putting the hatchery elsewhere, is that you would have been able to see, like, oh, okay, it's not entirely dedicated, he's getting a hatchery, had Bly not put the hatchery somewhere else. So that's kind of like the cool trick right there, but looks like Sleep is onto that already and is going to scout it, but unfortunately he has to deal with all of this first. So, Bly's speed will finish, but he does not have a Baneling Nest. That's one thing Sleep will have on top of him, so maybe he's able to use it in a counterattack, and hopefully he'll be able to save this hatchery.
Yeah, getting the queen's nice. I like that micro back out of Bly, too, to pull the lings away, the low ones at least. So he's got the high health ones on the front lines. He absolutely dominates this fight.
Oof.
Some of the lings are just going to AFK on the ramp. They should be, of course, attacking the hatchery. More lings are on the way for Bly, and this is getting pretty rough for Sleep. He's really not taking great engagements here. And Bly with what is like damaged lings should have lost a lot of these. Still has 3 remaining.
Oh, he's going to lose an Overlord as well. It went to go scout if the other hatchery was taken, I assume, and then it found it. Well, there's a queen. So this is actually going very, very poorly for Sleep. And again, his one, benefit here is that he has a Baneling Nest. So maybe a counterattack could work. Unfortunately, he's going to have less production very, very shortly as injects start kicking in for Bly.
Supply blocked, too. That Overlord
and he's supply blocked.
Down. This is a great opening here for Bly, but can he take advantage of it's the question? Because as you point out, there are going to be Banelings, and it is going to be a pain in the ass to deal with those without his own Baneling Nest. But I was wondering why the camera was sucking. I totally forgot I was playing, so I have to fix that. Oh, but that Baneling! Okay, not going to get the monster hits. He does try to run away. Still gets a good hit.
Yeah. So that was actually a little bit of a mistake. Bly has to be a little afraid right now, but he does have Ling reinforcements on the way, so it's all good. It's all good. Sleep really is on. I mean, he's actually got a lot of things going against him. He's once again supply blocked. At 29 out of 30, just put a hatchery down because he was banking so many minerals, just wasn't able to use all of them, and it should start to snowball back in the favor of Bly here, just with numbers, as well as he's getting the Baneling Nest.
Well, the lings are going to pounce on this natural base for Bly. Queens and a couple lings in production might be able to hold, but there's not really a lot of transfuses is the problem. He's actually going to bring back his lings. Oh, wow. I thought he was just going to keep going for the attack. I would have liked if Bly had just kept going for the attack. I think he can defend with what he has, but without that creep spread to the main, 2 Banelings going to get over here, and Bly not looking. Going to lose a lot of drones if he's not careful. Pulls at the last second. Can he block with this?
That last second split was so important. He's about to lose like 6 right there.
Yeah.
He does end up losing 3, which brings him back down to even, and Sleep's hatchery is about to finish up, but I don't know if that'll be enough for when Bly really starts to use his bank here.
Yeah, and he's also finally gotten his own Baneling Nest, which is a really big detail, because up to this point, playing without it has certainly been tough.
Yeah, yeah. So this is gonna make it a lot easier. It might, actually trigger him to go for another attack as well, though both of them are
Triggered.
just droning right now. Yeah, of course. They're both just droning right now, so nothing really except just these little scuffles. And now that Sleep sees the banelings, he's to be a lot more careful.
I saw a quick reminder too while we see these micro intense fights going on. This is being played out in North America between the two of them, Fly being from Europe, Sleep being from Korea. So no one really has like perfect ping going into this. There's always gonna be like that little bit of latency, which can make these fights go all kinds of bad.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that might explain that one baneling hit in the middle of the map. Maybe not.
Well, I think Bly just realized what it was too late. Like he was really focused on the wing fight.
Well, this game really has evened up more than I thought it would, although it still is in favor of Bly. He has a bigger bank right now, and he does have just a few more drones. But Sleep is, he's getting that third base, so that kind of accounts for both of those. And if he's able to get it for some time, then, it'll go back in his favor. But I'm sure Bly will have something to say about that. Whether it's attacking with Lings or getting his own third base, that's what he does. Of course, at his natural, which looks a little funky.
Gonna use the banelings on the spine collar almost because he, pretty much has to. Splash damage height.
Yep.
Alright, so for stabilizing off of this, Bly is behind on workers, but not by much. That third base is behind, but again, not by much. So as long as he doesn't die to any sort of attacks, and really with queens he shouldn't, he should be okay moving forward. The difference is, though, Sleep is gonna... That was a nice banely hit. Sleep is gonna be a little bit ahead when it comes to the Roach game.
Wait, how did... Bly just lost 7 drones?
Oh shit, where was that at? Great observing, Rifkin. I guess two banelings must have snuck in from the side. There's no drop overlords.
At the third, I'm gonna guess?
Yeah.
I tried to look to see if there's any carcasses, still burning, but I'm not sure.
It's the one low health drone. I don't know. It looks saturated from both sides. I don't know. Like, if you get hit, you lose half that drone line. So I don't know where that got damage from, actually.
It was odd because he had just remade 7 drones, so I would have only noticed if it wasn't for the game heart UI.
Yeah. Okay, well, either way, behind is supply, but, I gotta fix this. I'm sorry, guys. This is gonna drive me nuts. One sec. Mouse scrolling while observing is, like, such a pain in the ass.
Ooh. Sleep is probably going to go for an all-in here. He's got a lot of roaches. He's got Ling reinforcements coming through here. And I don't know if Bly can hold on to this. Bly is going to try and go for a Spire. He's going to have to depend on just spine crawlers and mass amounts of Lings to hold off on this. I don't know.
So it's not only the fact that it's the all-in, it's just... Even if this was just like a not all-in version of Roaches, Sleep was going to be ahead in this in quite a bit. And Bly lost that early game momentum. That Spire's not going to have enough time to finish, and he can't start Spines now. It's too late.
Yeah, despite what was a pretty good opener for Bly,
probably over right here.
Yeah, and for them, in having big bursts of economy leads, it might just be over. This looks so bad right now.
Nice transfuses to survive the banelings, but there's not enough to stop the roaches.
Yeah, the other roaches were of course coming back, so. That's a lot of banelings. They get a couple of those roaches pretty down in health. Sleep's gonna take this, I guess,
but the
safety first.
It's still not done, much less he has to still start the actual Mutalisk, and he's spending so much minerals and gas right now that he's only gonna be able to build like 3 mutas. So it's like, what are you holding on to? The mutas, but you're only gonna have 3? Okay, that's still not enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's a surprisingly good hold, as you usually do see only spine crawlers hold on for this long. But, yeah, Lings won't cut it against the banelings. Drones are now starting to go down to a couple of Lings to the side, and Bly does tap out. Ends up losing the game.
Kudos to Sleep. Takes that first game here in a best of 3. Really thought that was going so much better for Bly, though, for a long time.
It was just little, spurts, though. I kept on noticing how the supplies are fairly similar, but Bly would be up, 6 drones at one point or another. I thought that would be enough to roll over into a good macro game for him, but I think the bad choice was just going for Spire instead of his own roaches.
What's the next map, by the way?
I don't know.
Okay, by the way, TLO apparently hosted us a little while back. Sorry, what?
Ruins of Endion.
Okay. TLO hosted us a little while back. I didn't see it because Twitch's host thing doesn't show up properly anymore like it used to. So, shout out to TLO and all his viewers. Sorry I missed that earlier. Alright, there you go. Got the invites. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, Runes of Endion, whenever they're good to go.
I gotta pick myself up a Red Bull for tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a tough day. For those who don't know, we're going to be casting the IEM qualifiers, both NA and Europe. Like we said, we're trying to make up for our month of no casting with a month of too much casting. So, anyways, we'll see you guys here in a sec. I guess something kind of interesting to consider is if Bly wins this series, like if he can bring it back, that was really cool. Then we'll go to Europe for him versus Drogo. But if Sleep wins, we'll end up staying on NA, and that could maybe hurt Drogo. I don't know. Find out. Either way, winner of this goes on to fight against Protoss. Currently down to 1 at the moment in the bottom left side. He's on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Bly.
In the bottom right, as the Red Zerg, it's Sleep.
Okay, so the early pull tactics out of Bly aren't bad. As we've seen time in and time out, whether it's here or in previous cups, Bly knows how to get ahead with his early pull. I think what really fell apart for him last game, though, was like just got ahead but wasn't able to take advantage of that. Didn't transition into roaches, tried to go for Spire, which I don't disagree with, but in that situation obviously did not work for him.
Yeah. It's hard to criticize, the pro gamer and the ZvZ, but it's a situation where, I mean, you think about it, the last 2 weeks, Bly has just, he's felt off watching him, and he's also like just talked about how he feels off. Either he was sick or he couldn't stick to his plan. He felt like he was doing things wrong and whatnot. Oh wow, is he gonna pull the drones with this too?
Well,
oh my god.
Right now, Sleep doesn't actually see this coming, so this might just work out for him.
This is so stupid. Like, oh my god, I see Scarlet this so many times, and I don't think I've seen it work yet.
Well, so here's where I like it, though. Normally when this happens, the Spinecrawler gets scouted by the drone transfer or an Overlord, so that goes down before it's got enough time to do anything. Sleep now sees the drone pull. He's going to be aware something's up, but that Spinecrawler is almost done. All Bly has to do is defend the Spinecrawler, and he's good to go.
It is it's so silly. It really does depend a lot on the Spine getting up, though. And I mean, it's half health, but he didn't want to tango with everything else that was going to be there, Lings and drones, so he's just going to have to get his own Spinecrawler, but it's probably already too far gone. His spawning pool will go down if nothing else.
I don't like him taking the fight in the mineral line. It does kill a lot of drones, but he's got to keep these units alive to protect those spines. Sleep's going to cancel the one here in the main, knowing that he can't win there. Tries to build in the natural. I still think the same problem presents itself, though, where Bly's probably just fine. I mean, so the jokes are going to be brought up, but jokes need to be made. Firecake tried to do similar tactics last season. We banned him for it. But that was a situation where he didn't even try. What's really interesting is, like, Bly not only tried really hard with this, he's actually making it work.
Yeah. This is the first time that I think the 3 or 4 times that I've seen it actually work. And it did have a lot to do with not scouting the initial spine. So, that's quick and easy.
That will get us to game 3. Ace matched up. We're going to go to a small break while we get that set up. I also have to update this thing to reflect the personal donations I got. So we'll be back in a few moments, guys. We'll see you soon with game number 3. Alright, guys, we're back. Thanks for watching that break. Turns out I can't actually edit this once it's live, so I'm just going to have to, at the end of the stream, end it and start it brand new and add in the sum totals. This is actually at like $33. I just didn't realize you couldn't edit it on the fly.
Ready?
Yep. Dusk Towers. We had a bit of a hiccup there because we had the wrong map, so just ended up remaking it really quick. We'll see you guys here in a sec as we get into the real game. Alright, folks, it's tied up 1-1 as we get into game number 3 here for the qualifying match. There's no losers bracket. This is not double elimination. If either of these players lose, they are just straight up out. In the top right, he's done 2 cheesy pulls back-to-back, and for once, looks like that won't be the case for game 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Bly.
In the bottom left, as the Red Zerg, it is Sleep.
No, I'm actually... I thought Sleep was going to do the thing where you get cheese twice and you decide to counter cheese and show them how it's done type deal, but no, he's just going to keep playing standard, I guess.
I never really pictured Sleep as a bold player, I guess is the best way to put it. So I'm not too surprised he doesn't do it. Not that he's a bad player, but there are some players that are just like they'll definitely be like irked that you did it, or they'll definitely want to show you how it's done and whatnot. Nah, he's chill. He's chill.
Well, I think maybe he's chill, maybe he's not, but I think a big aspect of it it is harder to pull off cheese on latency issues if they are arising. I mean, you don't want to have to rely on early link micro if you've got a 2-second delay. Yeah, I'm not saying he does or doesn't, but
he's also not that chill because he did bother the drone scout, which is very not chill in ZvZ.
You just, it's almost the biggest form of taboo, like you don't do that. But in all fairness, as cost ineffective as this may be to do, checking for Bly to cheese you for that third game in a row, I think makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, I would agree. It does suck that it's such a long map. You do lose out in that single drone for a very long time, but the safety that you had got, you would have known he was going for an early pool would have been worth it. Fortunately, not the case. So Bly, I mean, gets like a little bit for that, even though he still went for like a later hatchery. He's going for a much earlier third hatchery. I guess it's not too surprising. It's a pretty common tact, like cheese into extreme macro, get your opponent all scared and whatnot.
Well, if he gets away with the third base, I mean, that is going to pay huge dividends. But Sleep is going for speed, and if you realize that there's a third as the Overlord pokes in, he may be able to get aggressive. But Bly's almost like feigning aggression through these lings. I don't know how much he plans to accomplish, because a queen alone could defend against 4 lings. Well, positioned well, but still. He doesn't take a bad fight with his lings, but still, it's nothing to really keep Sleep at home. And in fact, did he see the Baneling Nest before he got out? He did.
Okay. So, Bly doesn't really worry about the Baneling Nest yet. It has only just started, and you're not going to really worry about it until speed finishes as well, right? Actually, the Baneling Nest was canceled. That's interesting. Well, he does save money and gas from doing that, so he can put down his third hatchery a little bit sooner. Is that because he saw the third hatchery? I don't know if that timed up, but he did see the third hatchery, so maybe that was exactly what it was.
Well, actually,
have to worry about being aggressive.
Yeah, it's when you bring that up, because that makes a lot of sense. If you're going to try and match the macro, that's one thing, but also that Baneling Nest may have actually been purely defensive, and he was only getting it because he was worried Bly was going to get up in his grill, but Bly is going to get up in his grill. Lots of lings being made right now. The third hatchery almost appears to be somewhat of a fake. Not quite the roach ling that we used to see in the past, but still just lots and lots of lings coming out. And Sleep, does he have enough information to know that's the case? The ling gets picked off before it sees the other 10, so seeing just 2 lings get made really isn't that much of a red flag. But it is going to see them darting across the map, and Sleep did just get caught droning.
That 5 seconds was a pretty big deal. That was this drone set that is no longer a drone set. It's more lings. The Baneling Nest, as said before, was canceled, expecting no aggression, but rather a macro game. Yeah, expected wrong, but it's aggression. It's not an all-in. It's not those roaches you were saying. This isn't accompanied by Banelings either. It is just a test to see that Sleep actually doesn't get away with droning for so long. Maybe he could have tried to kill the third hatchery. This is getting kind of cleaned up. Not very difficult to clean up at all.
One thing I'm not worried about for Bly was he did this in the intention of provoking an overreaction. He wanted Sleep to make a ton of lings. He wanted Sleep to put down that Baneling Nest. Canceled again, by the way. Swaps out for a Roach Warren. But there's the danger of a huge counterattack that could have come off the back end of this. Had Sleep actually overreacted and made an extra 40 lings, he'd be up almost double the supply to Bly right now.
Yeah, that would have been scary. Yeah, especially considering that Bly did not see the cancel on the Baneling Nest. That counterattack could have had a lot of Banelings with it too.
Yeah, I think that's why the second Spinecrawler is coming down. It's going to pay off though, because I think he is going to be reaching for Spire, being Bly that is, and having a couple of spines. You put down 3 or 4 more. You can hold against that roach push and get those mutas out.
Bly's attack was also a nice scout, it saw that, I think he saw that there wasn't a Baneling Nest when he actually went in there. So he did realize the Banelings probably weren't going to counterattack me, and then he saw no Roach Warren either, and a Ling attack probably would have been, something he could deal with while still going for mutas, where anything else would have been a lot more difficult. He is getting a Roach Warren, I think it's just safety though, in case Sleep does decide to still try and push out, despite being at a pretty, a later time than I think you would really want to punish someone who's going for a Spire. But it's still, obviously a threat. Well, he is moving across with his lings and whatever roaches he has.
Let's also not forget, while not likely, there's still the potential Bly does mutas into roaches, which is common for other players, but a couple are coming out now defensively speaking. He's got a couple of spine crawlers down. I think with Defender's advantage, he should be able to hold this initial push. The question is, does he have to spend too much? Because right now he is building a considerable amount of roaches, and that's not going to leave him with very much money for Mutalisks.
Yeah, that was unnecessary. I think he saw like the 2 or 3 roaches that were going across the map with his overlord, and it just expected more to be following. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So yeah, that could have been money going into the mutas. If he just waits a little while longer, he should be able to get, you know, a decent amount though. He's already up to about 7 with just the gas. He does see the roaches this time with a more serious move out potentially, and this is I think where it gets a little bit trickier. Like, do you make more roaches? Or do you wait for the Spire? And he is going to go ahead and get those 7 Mutilas, so still ended up being a pretty good amount. And I think Sleep shouldn't attack into this, and yeah, he's not. He's actually pulling back, and Bly sees that with the Overlord. He's getting Infestation Pit, he's getting more Queens, of course he's finishing his upgrades as well, but now the control of the game has really gone to Bly.
Well, it's like with an asterisk, though. I mean, really, there's not that many mutas that can be too dangerous, and with the Infestation Pit out, it's not impossible to consider getting that fungal.
Well, the map control is really what I was talking about. You clear up the... Link can still be a problem because they're so quick, but the Overlord should die, and then Sleep should feel pretty apprehensive about ever pushing out.
Actually, so this is a more important factor where now I'm going to definitely agree with you, because before, there wasn't actually that much dependence on Overlord scouting. Sleep didn't actually have that many out on the map, but the creep spread was making up for that. So with the Overseer finished up, you can start picking off the creep tumors and completely strip away any chance of vision whatsoever.
Mutas really pin back the non-muta player, which is, I feel like almost everyone should go mutas if they're having that difficult of a time with it.
Yeah.
And it's an uncomfortable situation. The Queens can't quite cover, especially since you don't know if they're getting more mutas or if they're transferring over to roaches, which is what Bly is doing. And you got to be careful about how you play this out. So Bly's going to get a 4th, of which he is definitely allowed and should do with the control he has right now. And should get a bit of a better economy here to really have that burst of roaches. We'll see if this game goes any farther.
Nice dodge in that first fungal. There's enough Queens to kill the mutas if they're held in place long enough at least. 4 more Infestors coming out next for Sleep, so he's going to have quite a few fungals. Bly, though, is not... Despite the weapon upgrades, not really dedicated into this. I mean, keep in mind, he's also started the roach upgrades, speed got begun right away, and he's got a lot on the ground. These roaches, they're not actually that numerous for Sleep. A lot of this is in the Infestors. That's where a lot of money went. That's where a lot of gas went.
Once they are both maxed out, though, Sleep might have a better composition with those fungals. Unfortunately, the Queens are adding a bit to the supply as well, and they're going to get... It's going to be difficult to get them across the map, but they will provide transfuses as well as a more consistent way to deal with the mutas. So it's still a very scary situation for both parties. Bly's, I think, control of the other half of the map is slowly slipping away as, you know, mutas get picked off here and there, and Sleep realizes that it's not going to be a case of 20, 30 mutas causing a base trade. He's actually going to try and push across the map, but Bly has an equal army supply to meet it.
And getting guys who is pretty nice as well. Still harassing that main. That roach count, though, as you point out, though, what is it? We're 26 to 37. Bly's actually got more roaches to work with. A spine crawler, Queens defensively, defenders advantage for reinforcements. Infestors are going to add a considerable amount to this fight, but I don't know if it's enough to overcome that many roaches. And while Sleep's starting to now make up that difference, they're still across the map and not ready to fight right here, right now.
Of course, Bly does not have that +1. Could be a big deal. He's waiting on other upgrades as well, and the fungals could be really good. That one fungal was pretty damn good. One difference I guess we didn't really mention is that Bly has Ravagers.
Yeah.
Sleep doesn't.
The Corsair Biles are actually hitting this really nicely, and of course the range on them is huge when it comes to getting fungaled. But Sleep does have considerably more roaches, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to make up this difference. It is equal roaches if these weren't Ravagers, but again, Ravagers have a lot less health and they die a lot easier. Burrowing the roaches as well to heal them up is kind of a cool move. I like that out of Bly.
Very smart move there.
Big fight coming in.
Finally, the Queens are also on the front line, so they're adding damage as well as transfuses.
I don't know if they'll be adding enough damage, though, is kind of the question here. Bly still has that defender's advantage. Roaches reinforcing directly on that front lines. It is +2 weapon upgrades advantage for Sleep. A Corrosive Bile does 60 damage a hit and doesn't require upgrades. Completely concaving this army. Bly takes a huge lead, and if he counters, he'll probably counter to win.
Yeah, I think he's going to win. He's up 80 supply. He has at least one of those upgrades, and he has too many units. Those Corrosive Biles hit so much, especially the Queens, which have very little chance of ever dodging them off of creep. It was a nice game played by Bly. He makes up for that first loss.
Oh, absolutely. Fourth base going to go down here for Sleep. I love, once again, burrowing the roaches. Not to do anything sneaky. It's just healing them up. That rapid regeneration underground is kind of huge. Right now they're all full health. Boom. Instant remax on that army. Now he's going to have to unburrow them to fight. There we go. That's an important aspect to not forget about. But This is looking so good for Bly. This is looking so very good for Bly. As he pushes into this ramp, there's a bit of a concave at the top of it waiting for it, but the Corsair Ball helps break that as it pushes the roaches back. Both players dancing in and dancing out. Bly's starting to lose out on some of the momentum, but he does still have more units just overall. So despite the attempt at the fungals here, despite the defensive queens, none of that's going to be enough. Drones are going to get pulled, but Bly's army supply eclipses that of Sleep's now, almost 3-1.
Yeah, this is game. And of course, Sleep is probably thinking back to maybe not the start of this game, or Enemy 60 made this game, but rather letting that last game slip away with that cheese. At least I am.
Yeah, there's some, for sure that, but also there's some interesting mind games that went on this game too, like the constant cancels, trying to predict what Bly was doing, the drone scout, like, you knew from moment one of that game, Bly got underneath Sleep's skin.
Yeah. And the next match will be Bly versus Drogo, so we need to go over to Europe for that.
Yep, so European server for 2 European players, PVZ. Brackets are still somewhat early on. We're not quite at qualifying rounds yet, but we got some people getting damn close. Sulky and sort of contending for one of the slots. Bottom side, actually, I guess we'll just end up following this through, because winner of this then plays Namshar or Botvinix winner. Winner of that plays Sulky or sort of for the qualifying match. I mean, we're going to be casting both sides of the bracket, but this one's looking like it's closer to getting there first. Anyways, guys, word from our sponsors, because without Ting, this tournament wouldn't be possible. So make sure to check out bttv.ting.com. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.